GLAM, Los Angeles.
Hi, Kirby. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to Los Angeles.
Hi, Glams. We're live from London. Los Angeles goes international. We're so excited. We want to thank you to our friends at Chanel for producing this episode for us and inviting us on a beautiful trip to London town.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do my accent. No. I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of all these lovely British people. I'm not going to do it. But
I think you should do it.
You haven't heard it.
Yeah.
That's
You
why.
haven't suffered through it yet.
Okay, we are so thrilled to be here and to welcome the Chanel Cometes Collective, which is made up of 3 incredible Chanel Global Makeup creative partners. So we have Ammy Drammeh.
Hi.
We have Cecile Paravina.
Hi, guys.
And we have Valentina Li.
Hello, guys.
Welcome to Los Angeles, ladies.
Thank you
Thank you
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
So beautiful. I
know.
love all of your looks, all of your aesthetics. So different, but still like a common ground, just so fresh-faced. We want to kick things off with describing your beauty aesthetic or your beauty ethos. I think it says a lot about who you are as an artist. So, Ammy, do you want to start?
Sure. I think probably transformative is a good way to describe my ethos. And it's not about like creating a complete different persona, but actually make yourself feel amazing and transform yourself in the ways you want to or need to.
I love that. Cecile?
I think for me, like a good way to describe it would be paradox, because I'm interested in. Sometimes I guess it's hard to sum up your work, but I guess I'm interested in tension between things that don't seem like they belong with each other, and sometimes you've got like beauty and ugliness in the same kind of concept, and you bring things together. And so I guess paradox is a good way to describe my aesthetic.
I love the idea of ugly with beauty.
Yeah.
That really speaks to me on a deep level.
But I think it's if
very
you're
relatable.
just trying to do beauty, it's a bit boring, you know. So you might as well just bring things that people are surprised about, and you know, something like that. So I guess paradox is a good way.
It's also like redefining beauty, right? Like our traditional definition of what it is.
Yeah, I think what makes it modern for me is to add things that are unexpected references that come from places where people are not really looking into them, because you can really perceive beauty in a lot of different places, and it's good to see what people who are trying to be as open as they can be do with all their references. And so I guess like the tension between elements and composing is what I like, what I'm interested in.
I think for me, I'll say freedom. Yeah, freedom is like, I think in my creation, when I do makeups, I don't like to work under some rules. It's actually not just makeups. Like I think it's like a lot of things in my life. I like to be like the ultimate myself, and including how I see color, how I want to do this makeup. I want to have like a blank canvas without people saying me what to do, and I can be like the one who has decided everything. I think freedom is really important in my craft.
When did you fall in love with beauty or artistry? Do you feel like there was a moment in your life that really like cemented your dream? You're like, I want to be a makeup artist.
For me, it started super early. I was, I think, like 12, 13 years old. And, you know, I'm from a small town near Barcelona. And yeah, makeup wasn't something that was around me, like besides my mom or like aunties wearing whatever, you know, like a blush or a lipstick. But I was at school, and a classmate of mine had brought a book to class. So it was the Kevin O'Kwan Making Faces book. And I remember being super intrigued by it. And I think she really realized that I was so into it that she offered the book to me. She was like, you can take it home for like a few days and then bring it back to me. Okay, so I took it home, and every single day after school, my friends will come home with me, and I will try to replicate the looks that were in the book. And I think that was really, really the beginning of it, and that kind of like transformed into like kind of like a game or some sort of like hobby of mine as a kid, as a child, as a teenager. And it was like a thing, like on the weekends, like my friends will queue outside my bedroom to get their makeup and hair done every single weekend. And that was like a thing that I was doing just because I was really enjoying it and having fun. And then at school, every time that I will have like I don't know, end of the year theater event, I'll be the one doing the makeup for it. Like, it was just like fun and playful, and teachers kind of like picked up on it. And they were like, oh, I think, Ammy, you should go into doing something like this. But at the time, it wasn't really like a thing, like, oh, now you have social media and you see like 1 million makeup artists doing amazing work, and you can tell that they have a great life and they can make a living of it. But this is like, early 2000s, like that wasn't an option really. So shout out to my parents who supported
cultivating that.
me. Yeah, they were like, okay, well, she's not going to be a doctor, I guess. So let's give
A
up
different
to
type
the-
of doctor, a doctor of the face.
Of the face,
Doctoring the face.
yeah. I could have gone to, maybe like plastic surgery because I'm kind of like obsessed with it. But
that's another conversation.
yeah,
we'll
another
have.
conversation. But that was the beginning. It was just fun. It was nothing like calculated. It just happened. And of course, like there is, with time, after I went to school and I started to work in fashion, it became more about like really an art form and not so much about like
The hobby of it.
yeah, the hobby or making someone look pretty. It was creating characters. It became that after.
Cecile, do you want to go next?
For me, it came, beauty really came way later in my life than Ammy, like for you, it was really like as a kid. But so basically, we kind of have this in common that we grew up in places that are not like a big city center with so many things to do and so many opportunities to, learn about art or drawing or fashion or whatever. But I had internet quite early, and I became very fond of going on Tumblr. I think Tumblr played a big role of showing me fashion, showing me old Vogue Italia references, and then learning about movies and just like widening my possibilities and kind of being more culturally interested. And my parents did not really care, so it was just really my thing. And then this whole Tumblr thing became so important in my life that I decided to study fashion, and I had to like convince my parents for years because of course they wouldn't let me. They wish I was a doctor, just like you, Ammy. Of course. But so basically, I went and studied fashion after I graduated, and I moved to first Brussels, then Antwerp. And it is when I was studying to be a designer that I realized that beauty had like a really powerful aspect to it. And I remember that I was actually struggling in school, and I actually dropped out of the Royal Academy of Arts of Antwerp because I was making, patterns and all these things, and it was just like I don't think I was a good tailor. I don't think it was my craft, but it was really a very painful experience to realize that it was not my thing, because you invest so much hope and so much time and energy into studying like something like this. It's quite a like prestigious school, which is difficult for most of the students. And so basically, I remember having these like sleepless nights, like sewing all night and stuff like that, and being a bit desperate. And then I also started watching like a lot of YouTube, like on the side, like of my sewing machine. So I would be sewing, and then I'd be like, "What is she doing with her lipstick?" Like, okay, that's interesting. And then I was like, it just made me want to try on myself. Like, I just wanted to play more with makeup, so I bought like a few like things. I started experimenting on myself, but it was just like, it wasn't like to make it a job or anything. I was just like, oh, that's fun. And I also wanted to do it at school because I'm here with a bunch of friends and fashion students, so they're all interested in anything that is like makeup photography, and people are sensitive to it, like not in my village, so I have an audience. And then I think the teachers were realizing that the projects were terrible, but then my makeup was getting just a lot more every day, and they were just like, yeah, the project sucks, Cecile, but like the great makeup today. Like, whatever you're doing, go off, you know. So then I slowly kind of started realizing it was an interesting thing. And it also, after like 7 hours of working nonstop and you just go to school and you haven't slept and you haven't eaten or even had a little bit of a sip of water or something, you're just like a dry, human
Husk.
being,
Yeah.
husk, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is my project, and then a little bit of eyeliner, a little bit of foundation,
Game changer.
makes you feel like, okay, I can do this.
I'm alive.
Again, the
Yeah,
power
exactly,
of makeup.
and that's exactly that. Actually, I discovered the power of makeup, the power of transforming your face and enjoying this kind of ritual, and then. People around me, I kind of realized also I was into it. So they were like, hey, do you want to do makeup for my bachelor, photo shoot? I need to present it to the jury, so I need a photo shoot. You always need a photo shoot at the end when you're studying design. And they didn't need to pay me because I was down to do it. So it was perfect for everybody. And it was cool to actually start beauty in this kind of cocoon of creativity, which was that school, because I was like, hey, do you want to do green body paint? I want to do green body paint. They were like, yeah, sure. They can be a green naked body painted person in the background of my photo shoot. I don't mind. So everybody was kind of down for anything. And I feel quite lucky today to have learned in that, like I said, like that kind of cocoon of creativity that is bubbling with ideas, because it was also so removed from the industry. I was not looking at recent photo shoots and things that were happening in fashion now. I was just like, I just have these weird references from old photography and stuff, and I would just want to experiment with that. And my friends and some photographers here are down to do the same with me. And so then basically I decided to stop school. I was supported by my friends, not by my parents, who were like, what are you doing? But then after I started having opportunities in Paris, people were asking me for editorial. So it kind of felt right. So I dropped out of school, and I don't regret at all, because I've been having a blast doing my job now. So
And now working with Chanel. We love to hear it. We
yeah,
love to hear
new
it.
chapter.
You really showed your parents.
So I'm also from like a small towns in the south of China. So it's called Guangxi province. And it's like, I think my relationship with beauty not late, like middle school. And I love like painting. And my dream when I was a child, I wanted to become a painter, especially like painting like comic books, manga, this Japanese cartoon. I love it, Sailor Moons, everything, I love it. And but unfortunately, like my family could not support me because it was quite expensive. And but I joined the cosplay club. And then I started to do cosplay when I was in middle school. And my mom's like, she's really good at making clothes. So I got, I have like this like clothes like she made by me. Then I started to study how to put this makeup on me. And the funny thing is, the first character I ever cosplay has blue hair. When I think back, when I was like 11 or 12 years old, I choose a blue hair character to do cosplay. And when I was doing this cosplay, I'm like, wow, like I put these color lenses with me and I looked like completely different person, and this like colorful mascara, lashes, and like I understand like the power of makeup, like the transformation that you mentioned before. It was so powerful, and I enjoy to become like a different person, a different character by the help of makeup and the colorful hair. And then I was in like I was in cosplay clubs until like in high school also, and in the university also. I really enjoy it, and a lot of friends asked me to help them to do makeup. Actually, I studied journalism for 4 years.
You're one of us.
Yeah. But sorry, I wasn't that in. I don't feel it. I don't feel the click.
Totally.
And then I was reading all these magazines when the teacher was like passionate speaking, and I don't care. And I was like I was like self-taught how to do makeup. And at sophomore years, I finally found the courage to call my mom. That like, Mom, like let me tell you something. I wanted to study makeup in Paris. I'm like, I will finish my school, but eventually I want to become a makeup artist. And I told her that I feel like makeup is also a different way of painting. Instead of painting on the black white paper, you paint on living individual. And of course, my parents, like, they were like, do you want to open a saloon like in the future? Like they don't understand what I want to do because they are in a small town. We're not connecting, in that level. But I was really like, Mom, I really want to do this. This is like my love. Please give me 5 years and I want to go to Paris and to study makeup, to work with color. And my mom's like, okay, I'll give you 5 years. And if you fail, you come back, you become a teacher. I'm like, okay, but after 7 years, I got the contract with Chanel. And I guess my mom is quite happy, like, eventually.
Yeah, everyone's parents came around, except for Ammy's, who had been, like, on board since day one, which we love and respect them for. That's amazing. Yeah. So what does becoming a Chanel Global Makeup Creative Partner entail? I feel like if you're talking to any makeup artist, they probably would say this is the, creme de la creme. This is where they would aspire to be working with a fashion house and brand of this level. What do you guys do as this collective?
We go to the office in Paris.
We go to the office.
So we live in different cities. For someone that wouldn't know, you live in Shanghai, Valentina, and Ammy, you're based in London.
Yes.
And I live in Paris.
The lucky one.
Yeah, I'm lucky, but it's just like sometimes with traffic, it's still 1 hour to get there. But basically, we have to meet and all together, and we do work as a collective. So it entails that we have to work as a team as well. So we will meet, like, I think, once a month, roughly.
More than once a month.
More than once a month.
It's like once a month, but we spend like a whole week together, just like,
Just like
brainstorming,
yes,
meetings,
conversation.
lab stuff, just like this kind of stuff. So the Chanel makeup studio will give us like a subject to work on, like a future collection or a new range. Maybe we have to create like 30 colors. And usually we alternate between individual projects. So we each develop a collection on our own. And then we also started, because the symbiosis is quite, this team thing is working really well and we get on well at work. So it's quite easy for us to work the three together and kind of create a range together. So we've been doing that and experimenting with that for like, I think more than a year now. Working
way more,
Because you came together, October 2022? That's when it was officially announced?
It was
but we had been working, it started in May. We started in May 2022, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the first collection that you three worked on together?
It's not
out yet.
Oh,
okay.
right. Because
Yeah.
of
Talk about
how
that.
long it takes in advance.
Yes. Well,
Got it. That's
Years.
amazing. Are you in... I guess, okay, so to that point, beauty, like you're often working years in advance on a collection, whereas fashion, I feel like obviously work is done ahead of time. But are you guys, is directive from Chanel like you need to make collections that are inspired by our fashion?
No. I think they giving us a lot of freedom to base our collections in what's inspiring for us at the moment, or sometimes it can be like a subject that they want to work on, but we kind of like take that as an initial point, and then we kind of like transform it and like evolve the theme. And sometimes, as Cecile has mentioned, is one of us working on one collection, sometimes the three of us, but the studio is always like part of, kind of like directing how things, and like how things are also divided, because you can imagine it's not very easy to have 3 creative directors and like try to be like super equal and fair. So there is a lot of, like we don't have to experience that. That's like up to Natalie, the, vice president, but they really orchestrate something that works for us. And then of course, like we have like great chemistry. That's something that I don't know how they would have done it if we didn't get along, because, it's, unfortunately, like the fashion industry or the beauty industry can be quite like self-centered and like
Catty.
huge egos, and but we kind of like so chill and like
We leave the ego also out of the office because the fact that we work as a team, plus we work for another brand, a house that has a strong foundation, it already exists without us. Like we don't need to be there.
Right.
But like Chanel is such like a specific house with very specific codes and like a whole aesthetic and ethos to it. So we're only just adding a few bricks to a huge house already. So the thing is, like, we know this common goal and this helps us work smoothly because we're not trying to, shine brighter than the other one or like something like that. There's none of that energy at the office, so it's quite easy to work in these conditions with you guys. So
That they're so lucky. I mean, you all are so different too and have so many different perspectives.
We're really different.
but then we're kind of like the same as we as
same
goofy
energy.
as each other.
Exactly.
That helps.
I would love to be in your guys' group chat. I'm sure it's like there's so many points of inspiration.
it's wild.
It's never stopping.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Never stop beauty conversation. Sometimes like maybe 80% beauty, 20% something else.
That's like us.
Very the personal stuff comes up.
I love that. Okay, so as I just said, you guys come from such different backgrounds: Spain, France, China. How has your culture influenced your perspective on beauty? Valentina, do you want to start?
I'll say that I really love red. It's not because everybody think that red is the color for Chinese New Year. This is something that I really wanted to, but it's my point of view because like we are very close to Chinese New Year's, and every time at the end of the years, like red, like there's red everywhere. And I think that I'll say that the reason I love red is like I feel like in my culture we really like hard worker. We really like passion about our jobs. And I think red represents like, for me, red is the color of blood, as Gabrielle Chanel said. And it's like an act of passion. I think that the reason that's why every Chinese New Year there's like red everywhere is like people wanted to have this kind of positive feeling about life. And that's why like I really vibe with the color of red, but also like you mentioned, I'm quite alien.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're not like a lot of people that I've met before, whether they come from Asia or not. But you're a very unique person.
Yeah, I mean, I will have to say that it's not like my cultural influence me. I'll say it's like a forest. It's like a nature in general that influenced me. Because as I told you before, I'm from like the south of China, and I basically live in the forest when I was like a kid, and I spent a lot of my childhood like running around, and like also my biggest inspiration is the outer space and the forest. So I would not say like my Chinese culture that influenced me that much. I'll say like this, like my curious about nature and the outer space that influenced me.
I think it's interesting what you say because for me personally, so if you don't know, I come from like the ugliest village you can find in France, like in the northeast of France. There's nothing to do. It's so dull, so sad. You don't want to go there.
I love my hometown, by the way. she clearly hates it.
This in her hometown.
Her hometown is like amazing, like forest, like jungle. It's like nature is insane. Like it's a very different environment to grow up in. For mine, it's like post-industrialized nightmare. So when I was. I cannot say it didn't influence me. I know that there's some colors, like my love for certain gray tones come from this like disgusting dull buildings, and stuff like that. But for me, it's more growing up against something. It's like wanting something that is not there where I come from. So always kind of running after it. It's like, I think this is the biggest influence that the place where I grew up gave me is just like, I really liked eccentricity. I needed to express myself, whether it was with hair, with makeup, with clothes. And initially I wanted to be a designer, so I guess I was very interested in fashion. I think it's because I was lacking something that was not there, that was not present. I have some very French things about me. You guys know.
Yes.
You guys know I have very French things about me, complaining about food everywhere when it's not in France, or like doing things like this. But truly what influences my work is the lack of. I think.
Yeah.
Just always running after something.
Cool.
In a way, I can really relate to you because, again, I grew up near Barcelona, but it wasn't Barcelona. It's, again, an industrial city. It was a textile city. So there wasn't much about where I grew up. And also, I grew up being completely different because there wasn't Black people in Spain at that time. I was the only Black person in maybe with my brothers and my dad. Maybe I could count maybe 10 more people in the whole city that were Black. So I did grow up feeling quite othered. So in a way, like that hunger of, instead of trying to accommodate to what the beauty standard was around me, I had to make, now as an adult, I can see what I did as a kid, but I had to make an executive decision. Either I'm trying to assimilate and try to be white and Caucasian, which is not gonna work, or I just embrace my roots and I embrace my heritage, and that's what I did. Like, I was super lucky to have 2 brothers and my dad and my mom, and actually like my family, my Spanish side of the family, who were super open and they were super curious as well. So we always had like some elements of my Gambian culture around, and I can say that I absolutely do take inspiration in my culture, and things like, like vibrant colors, things that cannot be super, that are not very linked with chicness, but I do see it because I see these beautiful aunties wearing like colorful outfits, and they just elegant. Sometimes they're not even trying, like when I go to Gambia and I see them like in the market, like they just like, each day is the day to wear an outfit. It doesn't matter if you like selling oranges or if you are going to a dinner party, and I think that's something that I really have in like the way I even like create makeup. I don't want to limit the color range of like, oh, this is chic, but this isn't. This is elegant, but this isn't. Just because it's not the standard or it's not what they have told us that it is acceptable. So definitely I can say that like I keep my culture super close to my heart, and I'm like super proud.
So I was reading you were inspired by 90s R&B and hip hop music videos.
Yes.
Like artists Aaliyah, TLC. Have you incorporated that into your aesthetic at all?
Absolutely.
Okay, please tell us more, because this is speaking our language.
yeah.
We love Aaliyah and
was-
TLC. What about them, or what about 90s R&B and hip hop have you brought into your aesthetic?
I mean, like the first thing that you see when you look at these women or men, they always look flawless. One thing that you will always find is that they have perfect complexion, it's just like amazing. And then they will add something, and kind of like going back to what you were saying at the beginning, like that sense of like clashing. So the skin is gorgeous, flawless, beautiful, and then they add a black glossy lip, or a huge lash, or crystals, like all these elements that are so not expected. They were doing all of that. Like, and you see them fashion shows that took like incredible inspiration by these women, like, and it's kind of fun, like, interesting to know that they actually, like, even with clothing, they were not sponsored by any of these brands. They were buying these amazing outfits with their heart.
Which is crazy
money.
because
Yeah.
TLC was not making money for a minute. Like
Exactly.
money was being stolen from them. So the fact that they
Yeah.
actually had to pay for it is bonkers.
I just, honestly, and like...
Good for them.
Good for them, and also, like, it says a lot about personal style.
Yeah.
They were not trying to look like anyone else, more the opposite way. Like, all these brands and all these designers, like, they were reflecting on what these people was
Totally.
doing.
They
Yeah.
were seeing TLC, Aaliyah, and they were taking inspiration to put on the runway, which is like we could have a whole conversation
Yes,
about
totally.
where
Exactly.
inspiration's really coming from.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, that's so true.
Okay, so Valentina, we're gonna talk more about color. So you refer to yourself as like a face painter because you're, very artistic. You want to be, an artist at first. What advice do you have for people who want to incorporate and play with more color and make statements but are afraid, which I feel like is so many people?
But like, if you want to make a statement already, why are you afraid of it? Right? Because actually my style in my early years was quite a difference because I finished my school in Paris like around 2015 and I started working in Shanghai for about 3 years and all I do is natural makeup. It's no makeup. And at the end of the day, I'm like, why I'm here for? I mean, if you want me to just do like a skin, I mean, I also do gray skin. Thanks for those years. But I'm a makeup artist. I want to play color. I want to do crazy, beautiful eyes, like creative lips. And then, but I was afraid of the society and also afraid of the industry because at that times in China, like we don't see much makeup in the magazine. We're all focusing on the styling, on the fashion, but nobody connected with makeup. But I was so lonely and so sad. And then after one more year, I decided to study again. So I was with Erin Parson for Paris Fashion Week. I sent her a lovely message. I was like, can I assist you for Fashion Week? Because I really want to learn. And I think like during the show is like the moment that you can learn the most. And she replied me, thank you so much, Erin. And then she was so nice to me. And then I got the chance to really see like how people play with different material, the crystal, like a lot of like different color and how she see makeup is totally different than my experience in school and in my work. And when I came back to China and I just think about like what I want to say through my makeup. What do I want it to tell the audience? I wanted to, I don't want people to see my image and they say, oh, this is Valentina. I want people to see my work and they say, oh, this is Valentina. So nowadays you can see each of my work, I will leave a sentence. That's my statement. But I'm sure like not everybody gets what I want to say through my work. But if like the audience, they connect with me and they know, like, for example, if I do a lot of freckles on the skin, I will say like, first the sun, then the burn. Or I will say like, freckle is like the best gift the sun can give us. I'm a very sensitive and a romantic person. I have a lot to say. And I was a journalist before. So when I was a journalist, I write to express my thought. And now I express my thought with color. I think generally I just have a lot to say, but I cannot write down, but I show you with my work. So I think that it's not about like you're afraid to make this statement. I think first you need to talk to yourself. You need to know what you want to say. Then just do it.
Okay, Cecile, so we talked about your fashion background, your mentor, Serge Lutens, very important to you.
Yeah, but I've never met him. I mean, people say you're a mentor, but he's just...
Who you're inspired by.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about this because one thing I love about your work is that you refuse to color within the lines sometimes. So like you can see your makeup, it will extend past like an eyebrow. Like if you're painting the eye, it'll extend. You're not like keeping it, you have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's not painting by numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what would you say fashion and your inspiration from Serge brought to your artistry?
I mean, I think I kind of got very fond of Serge Lutens way after I started becoming a makeup artist. Like, I think I knew images of him, but it didn't click as much. I think I needed to wait to become a makeup artist and then see why his work is so genius. Because he's not just a makeup artist, he's a photographer and he's an artistic director, and he worked at Dior and Shiseido for ages and created things that I think to me is the epitome of creativity in a beauty brand, which it's easy to do makeup. I mean, it's not that easy, but it's easy to do makeup on a shoot or on yourself or for creativity or on a client, and you give out something and it's there. But I think what he did of creating it with the difficulty that exists that are present when working for a brand, I think it's quite genius, and that's why he's so important to me, and his career is something that I look up to very much. But I'm not sure how to answer honestly. How does fashion come to inspire? But yeah, it's a difficult question to.
I'm actually curious. You said something at the beginning about how Tumblr was part of your inspiration, and it introduced you to movie references, film references. Is there a movie or film that you're continuously inspired by that you find yourself bringing?
Yeah, there's so many actually. I think there's a movie that I love by a Japanese director. I think it's probably from the 60s or 50s, but it's called The Face of Another. And I think it's an amazing movie because it questions the idea of wearing a mask and things like that. Basically, the main character is like he got disfigured by a fire, so he finds a man on the street and he asks his doctor, his surgeon, to put the face of this man, and so he lives a double identity.
I've heard of this movie.
It's really interesting. So there's so many. I think there's so many. I found out about specifically Japanese and Italian cinema. I love Fellini, for instance. I think Casanova is that's the reason why I shaved my eyebrows. I had shaved eyebrows for I think 6 years, and there's one character that has this glistening white skin and this shaved eyebrows, and I just loved her personality with a dark red lipstick, and she was so yeah.
I know. I'm looking at you. Yeah.
I just couldn't forget about her face, and this of course infused my work. What I want to try to do, depending on who I work with, what is possible. But I always try to have these very important references. There's also an Indian Bollywood actress that I love. Her name is Rekha, and
beautiful.
it's good to have as many references. So whether you work on different skin tones, different features, different ethnicities, you always have something to bring that clicks well, but that is maybe still unexpected. So I think to me, having Tumblr and a wide range of references that I could just enjoy, get into, were really important. But what was most important is that at the time I wasn't trying to find inspiration for my work. It was removed from work. It was just enjoying it for myself. It was a way to dream, a way to forget that I lived in this village that I didn't really like, or, so I think to me, my approach of getting inspired it's quite important to do it removed from anything, and something that might inspire you might be in a book. It's completely abstract. It's just a sentence you read and you're just oh my God, what I'm imagining sounds really good. And I'm happy with, I'm at peace with that, even though I can't immediately use it into an eyeliner or into creating a shade of mascara or something like that. So, I guess staying culturally stimulated and involved enables you to see beauty and be very alert to beauty. I think a question that is often asked to us, I think, is what is beauty, or but it's so vague, it's so difficult to answer,
And it's subjective too.
Right. Yeah, it's very subjective, exactly, because it depends on your experiences, your background, your mood even, and I think it's quite good to feel like beauty is just like an ephemeral thing. It's gonna happen. You don't know when. You just have to put yourself in the condition to be able to enjoy it. So I guess that would be like a good way of explaining my approach in a way. It was hard to answer your question, but I tried my best to give an insight.
We've been eating up everything you guys have been saying, by the way. This is like a very fun conversation for us.
I just have to say, last thing about Tumblr, could we talk about Tumblr? I was just talking to someone last week, and they were saying that they're on Tumblr still all the time.
I am.
Are you?
Same.
So you still use it?
I don't post anymore.
Okay.
I don't post because it would be weird. And I found out when I was posting so I think a lot of people follow me like that work in the industry, but they don't know it's me because I've had it for so long and I was like micro Tumblr famous. Oh. So I think a lot of people even knew me from like other schools, like who went to art school or whatever. And they were like, you know what? I've been following you since you're 14. And I'm like, oh, that's shocking. But so this already happened. And every time I would post pictures, like more recently, like 2 years ago, I was still posting and people would just like, I would find these images everywhere on Instagram after. So now I want to have like a more like private way of educating myself and, you know, going to exhibitions. And also I collect vintage books now, which is my Tumblr is now physical. It's my library, you know. So I think I don't enjoy internet the same way. Internet changed a lot also. It's not the same era, but
I wonder if this is the first Chanel creative partner that's mentioned Tumblr
I know.
as inspiration.
Yeah.
It's the new age of Chanel.
It is.
Okay,
so obviously Chanel, iconic, classic brand, but you all are very eccentric. You are the future of beauty. Why do you think the brand brought you together?
did you feel it was a good match? Like that was what I was thinking. Like, and I look at you guys, like obviously you're wearing Chanel and you look Chanel. But then when you talk about your inspirations, I'm not necessarily aligning Chanel with 90s R&B or Tumblr.
The thing with Chanel is that it can be so many things since the ethos enables for the ethos of Gabrielle Chanel is to create garments and objects that enables her to have the lifestyle that she wanted to have at the time with no concessions. And there's a type of egoistical like approach almost, but it's very sincere and it's functional too. It's creating a black tip shoe when you don't want to walk in mud and have your shoes dirty. But now it's an iconic piece and everyone's like, oh, it's Chanel. But you don't necessarily think like, oh, they're the shoes that you wear when you don't want them to get dirty and you need to walk.
I had no idea.
There you go, a little bit of trivia.
Education, here we go.
But also in a way that you think about like Chanel loved to, what was that thing, your inspiration for your fall?
She loved astrology and I say that she was a bit like a fortune teller. Of fashion.
And you love that too, right?
Yeah.
And Chanel loved tennis, loved like skiing.
Yeah.
That's me. Chanel loved music. That's her. So
You all are parts of...
I did not know astrology was involved in that.
So you have to go visit her
now
home.
I feel more
you should
connected
visit her
than
house.
ever.
It's amazing.
All the different elements.
Yeah.
That's
Love
amazing.
that.
Did you guys know each other before?
We knew of each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you concerned that you weren't going to get along?
Me,
You were-
I concerned. I'm a Scorpion, and I'm like, I was like really like research, like what is her sign?
What are the signs? Tell us the signs.
Yeah, signs.
I'm
What
a
are
Libra.
Aries.
Okay.
Scorpion.
Yeah, interesting.
Spicy mix.
Later, we're gonna have to talk about y'all's big three, like what your rising and moons are, because so we're both Capricorns.
That's good.
But she's Capricorn, double Aries,
Yes.
and then I'm Capricorn, Cancer rising, Scorpio moon. So I love a Scorpio. I have a little Scorpio, but also I have a lot of Aries and a lot of Libras in my life. So I don't know what that means, but this feels like a collective. All five of us together.
Maybe someone at Chanel ran your guys' birth charts first. And then
I think so.
People do that.
Probably
Yeah.
they did, we just don't know.
It's a good idea. Michelle Phan did that when she was employing people. She was asking people what their
really?
signs were. Yeah, we had her on the podcast. She told us, I'm like, I think that's like an HR violation, but whatever. Okay, so let's talk about products to invest in when it comes to Chanel. I mean, even with the beauty, even though beauty is more attainable for a lot of people, it's still a luxury brand. So the holidays are coming up. People might be thinking, I want to give something really special for, Christmas, Hanukkah. is there a product that you each would recommend investing in? And what is it?
Yeah,
Yes.
for me, it's Rouge Duo Ultra Tenue.
Okay.
I think I love this lipstick. It feels, like one of these like Chanel suits, like that are comfy, but also really make you look put together. And you just forget that you're wearing it, but you're just effortlessly chic all day. This is this lipstick. It stays so well on. You can eat, drink, talk, do your entire day and still look super put together at the end. And I love that. And many shades are really cool. So.
Is there a favorite shade?
I love Burning Red because it's a yellow red. But I also really love both Radiant Pink and Shocking Pink. I love these two colors.
Yeah, I do agree. It's a great product. And honestly, it doesn't move. You will apply the shade in the morning at AM. You will go and have lunch and the shade still there, hasn't moved. You just need to apply or reapply the gloss. It's perfect. Yeah. But I have to say my favorite.
That's my favorite too, but go ahead.
It's Baume Essentiel in transparent.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's for everyone. You can apply it literally everywhere, like eyelids, cheekbones, lips, collarbones, anywhere really. And it just makes you look very radiant and healthy. Like, I just love it.
Sarah mentioned it on an episode a few months ago, and I had never tried it before.
I know.
And then
I
I
know.
got it in the room, and I was
Which shade?
What shade do
The
we have?
transparent
It's
one?
the transparent. It's the transparent
yeah.
one.
Transparent
I
one.
love
I
Classic.
put
It's
it
a good
on
one
my
to start
eyes
with.
this morning, and then I did my makeup,
get
then I
to.
put it on my cheek, and then I put it on my cupid's bow, and then I put it on the middle of my lip. I'm like, okay, why have I been living without this? It really, it's a grown-up highlighter. It's so chic. It's so
it really,
beautiful.
like you said, it makes you look alive and healthy.
Yeah.
Especially after you, set your face, powder it down. It brings back like the
life.
The life.
Yeah.
Is that what you were gonna say, Valentina?
I love like Baume Essentiel. Like I use like maybe 30 or like 40 of them already for show. For show. Whenever I do show, not me, I don't have that.
you don't have the real estate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that product. But I'm going to say like, because you mentioned holidays coming, so I'm going to say like my new collection, the holiday collection, the Enchanter Night. It's like this like really big like the face and eye palette. And it comes in this like giant quantity.
It's the XXL compact.
It's really, really
Oh,
big.
so
that's
gorgeous.
those compacts are so beautiful too.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
that's like a
gosh.
nice gift in itself.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you can use for your cheek, you can use it as a highlight, a blush, and for your eyeshadow, I think it's like the three of us really love the idea of like multi-use products. We think that we want it to become, like we want to create more products like that. Because in the future, you don't want to bring like 10 kilos of makeup products to travel.
No.
It's really like heavy.
As makeup artists, we know.
We know.
We know how heavy.
Yes, you guys have kits. You understand.
It really goes back to that Gabrielle Chanel ethos of
Yes.
like something that is really practical. So if you have one thing that you can use for many, many areas of your face and many occasions, that's like just perfect.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do a fun little rapid fire. Okay, first thing that comes to mind: most recent saved Instagram post.
Do you guys save a
don't
lot of
have
posts?
Instagram.
that's right.
Oh yeah, you
Abby
two
don't
don't
have
have it. We saw that on y'all's page. So
Yeah.
you two don't have Instagram. Why?
I mean, I do have Instagram.
I mean, you have it,
I
but
just
not on your
don't
phone.
have it on my phone.
I go to Instagram maybe every 2 weeks.
Okay, that's okay.
So people send me DMs and they're like, "Are you coming to the?" And I'm like,
You're like, I don't see.
Sorry,
Are
this
you
was
also
7 days ago. I'm sorry.
Are you also not on TikTok?
No.
Oh, I don't even
No,
have. I've
I don't have-
never had
No.
TikTok.
Wow.
I've
Okay.
never
But
even
I'm on
started.
Instagram.
Valentina is on Instagram.
Do you have anything saved?
Cats.
Cat.
And either octopus or weird like alien, like deep sea animal.
Oh.
Yeah, they're two of my thing: cats and ocean creature.
That's me with Mudang, the baby pygmy hippo from Thailand.
You guys have to see Kirby's Halloween costume.
Dang, love her.
I
She
was
was
Mudang
Mudang.
for
She was
Halloween. It
Full
was
on prosthetic.
It was wild. Really? I will show.
Can we see pictures?
Yes, after this, you will be seeing
couldn't
it.
eat or drink.
No, I couldn't. It was crazy.
Work. That's the best.
Thank you. No, it was. I was like,
Last Halloween, I was in a mummy and I was in a club and they had to cut me up like open because I was suffering from just like being constricted so much. So they had to find like scissors in the club and cut up my
my God.
entire body, and I just went out like this with the front and the back in the taxi. Like,
How interactive.
I love that. Yeah, no, I was pretty sad taking off the prosthetics. I like wanted to be the hippo. It was like, this is me now, but whatever. Okay. What is a beauty rule that you three love to break?
Oh, I like to break
Every single
one.
rule.
There is no rules.
Yeah.
I hate the one that is like blue eyeshadows for brown eyes or whatever.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
hate this
Please,
one. I hate
no.
this one.
Yeah.
It's like I wear green eyeshadows and I have green eyes. You know, like
Shocking.
sue me.
And you can wear a color content to change your eye color. You know, there should not be rules in makeup. It ruins the fun.
Oh my
And
God.
even these things that they do now where like they put like colors in front of you and
color
they
theory.
do this like,
No, not the
really,
Korean
you don't
color theory
you
thing.
do
No,
not
no,
need
no.
it's like this
Textbook.
makes you old and this no.
Yes, no, I agree.
It's
There's that filter on TikTok that's like contrast. If you have to figure out which like contrast you are, and Karina and I could not figure it out, and we're like, whatever, this is too hard.
We're like, we're
It's
over
too
this like
hard.
makeup
But
industrial.
do you guys have rules though? I think that's interesting because we hate the rules, but I do have a few things that I'm a bit
you
like,
have.
Do I have any
What are your
rules?
I'm a bit psycho.
I
but-
don't have any rules.
I don't have any.
I mean,
I'm with you.
just not like having as least foundation as you need just to
Yes.
cover up what needs to be covered up, but that still looks
I don't
nice
think that's
and breezy.
But then at the
That's
same
your
time,
rule.
it depends
That's your
because if I do a
That's a
project
rule.
that I want the the character that I'm creating like
be
look
cakey?
cakey,
Yeah,
then
for
I'll
sure.
put like 30 layers of foundation
That's
and I would
true.
love
Actually,
it,
yeah.
know.
Never
mind.
Yeah. You
don't have
see,
rules,
no,
yeah, it doesn't
no,
work.
Cecile's like, never
Rule.
mind.
Yeah.
No.
Have rule.
Ladies, this was so fun. We've come to the end of our hour. We could talk to you for many more. Hopefully, there's another episode with you three in the future. But where can people, if they want to maybe not DM you, but follow you on Instagram,
see your
what are
work.
your handles and where can they see your work?
So my one is literally my name and surname, Ammy Drammeh. And you can follow me on Instagram. I don't post much, but I think you'll find a few cute things that you can look at. Why not?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, even though I don't post anymore almost, but like it's Cecile Paravina, my first name, my last name. But I think, no, I'm not going to reveal my Tumblr URL. People are going to
You'll have to do digging yourself.
and just like look up for all my inspo. So I'm not going to reveal it now.
So mine is also my name plus my birthday and my blue hair. I think I'm very easy to find, and I'm quite active on Instagrams, and I think that's like a very good platform for me in the beginning of my career and also now. And also I send a lot of cute cat stories, so please, if you're an animal lover and an ocean lover, please follow me.
Amazing.
Yay, that's a wrap.
Thank you so much, guys.